usamos estampillas también.
You are now tuned in to your number one radio station.
Violent people.
Radio.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 55th episode of Violent People Radio, the podcast where we discuss Major League Wrestling War Chamber 2025 and only Major League Wrestling War Chamber 2025. I am Pat. I am here with mainstay Chris.
I'm Day in Maine.
I am here with stalwart Dan.
Talk to the MLW Renegades.
And I am here with the surprise invader from the official Grapply podcast, the shocking debut. What's he doing in the Impact Zone? It is A Bastard. How are you?
I'm all right.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you sound so confident about it.
Yeah.
You really sound enthused about your decisions.
He's definitely not forced to be here.
We
No,
definitely.
I thought it would be nice.
He knew what he was getting into going in. There were no tricks involved. I didn't tell him that, this was actually some kind of intervention for Dan just to get him interested enough to log in. So the intervention will come later when we talk about MLW. But for now,
we're here for you, man.
how have you guys been doing? We're missing Sam. We are a Samless podcast this week. He's busy watching more of the See No Evil universe or something.
2 weeks in a row, no Sam.
I heard he's watching WWE Evolve.
He might be watching WWE Evolve, and as we discussed off mic, he needs to watch out with that stuff. If you get caught with WWE Evolve on your hard drive, the other prisoner, you don't want to be in Gen Pop. The other prisoners will do some bad stuff to you.
That's right.
I'm not going to go into the full comparison I made, but I am going to laugh about it because I can't stop myself. Other than to say, Gabe Sapolsky, a problematic legacy.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get Gabe for this evening?
What's that?
You couldn't get Gabe for this evening?
I tried. I told him that VPR is working on its brand new shitcoin to try and get one over on the marks. I wanted some pointers on how to be a crypto creep. And he just big dogged me.
Yeah, I try to get him on every week. I say, we're going to talk about our favorite late 90s, early 2000s sludge metal bands, and he never takes the bait. I was like, bro, we're going to talk about our favorite Neurosis albums. Never even responds.
Have you tried?
That picture of him in the Neurosis shirt. That's so good.
Have you tried I Hate God? Maybe he'll go for that. Or like if we're talking about like the first Down album.
Well, he's in WWE now, so it's probably more like I Love God.
True.
That's true. He's probably working a lot with Shawn. Can you imagine the Shawn Michaels, Gabe Sapolsky holding hands, backstage prayer?
I imagine it every night before I fall asleep, and then I sleep like a baby.
Good. I mean, you're doing better than I am. So we don't only talk about Gabe Sapolsky on this podcast, as much as we would like to.
What?
As much as we would like to. I mean, it's a topic that deeply interests us, but we also realize that we have a fiduciary duty to the listeners to not just ramble about Gabe for 2 hours. So we do have to watch some wrestling. I'm going to go alphabetically. Backwards, though. So, Dan, have you watched any wrestling this week?
I have. I want to first start by letting everyone know, like early on in the podcast, that Ricky Shane Page is currently sidelined with a herniated disc in his lower back, but he's offering online coaching. So if any of you guys want to get,
Thank God.
we just he says here.
What coaching on what? Like fucking how to pick things up properly?
Listen, once you get past the blood and glass, I'm a really good wrestling trainer. My students speak for my work. So there you go.
I guess I watched for the death panel thing. I watched Ricky Shane Page versus who was it? One of the other 440 guys at that CZW show from May. Because you asked me to, Dan. You were like,
yeah,
let me
it
know
was
how
either
this
Eric
went.
Ryan or Bobby Beverly. I don't remember.
It was Eric Ryan. It was Eric Ryan. God, that was boring. They just went out there and they were like, there are 26 people in the audience and we are going to wrestle like it. So maybe Ricky Shane Page is smarter than he looks.
Smartest guy in the room. I guess I watched wrestling though. I would start with I watched AAA and WWE Worlds Collide. And I saw people were pretty positive on this. And I don't know. I don't feel like maybe I'm being a hater, but I kind of like, not that I follow it as much as Chris or Pat, but I kind of like my shitty AAA. Like I don't need it through the lens of NXT.
Did you watch it English or Spanish?
English.
Okay, so you
what
got
was
the
Conan
full-on.
and Corey like?
Oh my God, Conan's commentary.
When I read that was the commentary team, I just laughed for about 2 minutes.
I swear to God, it was like they gave Conan horse tranquilizer. Like he was in the K-Dog was in a K-hole the entire show.
I mostly tuned him out. He did seem really bored, like when you think this would kind of probably be like almost an audition for a job, but I guess he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he was keeping it at about 0.
Rey Mysterio comes out and like just sells out lucha. Like that's the way they start the show. Is like Rey's like, finally lucha's a real wrestling. Finally people can see it outside of dirty, dingy Mexico. This is his words, not mine. And
what was the verbiage you used to? They got the stamp of legitimacy.
Yes.
I'm going to be using that phrase from now.
Who knew that it wasn't legitimate until we got Vikingo and Chad Gable?
For the first time since Super Astros in 1998, Lucha Libre is legitimate once again.
Look at it.
I honestly found it. The show, this is going to be, we'll get to the other thing I had to talk about, the other full show, but I found it more boring than MLW War Chamber. I know it's probably wrong. Like, it's probably objectively better wrestling, but I just couldn't care about any of this. And it's almost like depressing because the WWE stars are so over. Pagano was the best fucking guy in the show because he's just a fucking, like, I don't know. I didn't hear people say this, but that's Sabu. That's the guy blowing spots and just being cool as fuck as he does it.
Did he do any hardcore stuff?
Not really. No. I wish.
But yeah, he tagged in. He got the hot tag. The crowd goes crazy for him. He immediately like fucks up a drop kick and then he fucks up a double DDT. Like he I think it's on the Garzas. He goes for like a double DDT on them, and he just like drops one of them. So one of them like remains standing and has to think on his feet, like, how do I sell that his arm kind of like grazed my knee? It like they should keep Pagano around forever because if this is how he wrestles now that Lucha Libre is legitimate, I cannot wait for more.
But like in that match, you have El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., Pagano, and Psycho Clown, like three of my favorite guys in AAA, and just clearly less over than Legado de Fantasma, the WWE guys, and that's a little depressing to watch. So I couldn't really get into it. I had it on TV, wasn't really paying much attention. Before I want to get okay.
Sorry,
No, go ahead.
I didn't watch the show, but I was pleased that Mr. Iguana is poised to be the next Yeet Man.
Oh,
of course, myself and Chris used to be in a group chat with him.
Yeah,
not he only pitched in very occasionally, but yeah, good to see.
Oh yeah, the W universe is eating him up and is going to keep eating him up. They're going to love that shit. Which I mean, that's kind of cool because it's like that's been a guy who's stupid over and that AAA refused to use. But I kind of like that in my AAA. I want them to just be like, no, we're pushing who we're pushing, and we're doing what we're doing. The story won't make sense.
It's crazy to me that Mr. Iguana is the breakout meme superstar, and 10 years ago or whatever, he was teaming with Frisero Jr.
Did you see the picture of Joe Hendry with Mr. Iguana? And the
Yeah, they
caption
were
was
both
like, "What would you call this team name?"
Fully nude, just right out of the gate, full frontal nudity. Call the team that. I will say though, in the opening match, I had forgotten that Lince Dorado was a good wrestler. Like Dragon Lee doesn't go at 100 miles an hour all the time anymore. Lince Dorado, I had not thought about him in like 10 years. And he was kind of the guy in that match that had me go like, oh wow, Lince Dorado can do some stuff.
Lucha House Party alumni.
Did he get released and come back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I thought so. I thought I remember him coming back to the Indies.
Because
he's like a performance center guy now. He's like a coach.
Yeah, when I saw him on the card, I was like, what? Because I didn't know he was back in the company. Because I know he had taken like indie dates. But apparently he's been back for like a year.
And it's still so awesome that he's the guy who cost Quack his WWE Performance Center job.
That is a really good transition because I watched one of the full show, but I also watched 3 matches because I have to keep the canceled indie wrestlers alive. So I watched a match from Drew Gulak, Mike Quackenbush, and Austin Aries. They weren't all the same match, 3 individual matches from each of these guys this last week. And they're all still great, guys. Not really Austin Aries, but Gulak and Quack are still great. I hate to break it to everybody. I'm going to go worst to best. Austin Aries faced Brett Ryan Goslin in March in Massachusetts, and it was 24 minutes long for some reason.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Was that for Proving Ground Wrestling?
Powerhouse Wrestling, I think.
Okay.
Powerhouse Wrestling, New England.
Yeah, there's a company called Proving Ground that operates in like Peabody and Salem and around there, and they always use BRG.
This was in Sturbridge, Massachusetts. I can't say that word is what I'm finding out. Yeah, Austin Aries he's better on commentary than he is in the ring at this point, which is not great. When we get in the War Chamber, not great. Yeah. So that kind of broke my heart. But then I got into Drew Gulak against David Goldie for the Monster Factory. Goldie's their supersonic champion. This was the main event of Total Wrestling Live 87 TRL. And Gulak's awesome. It's been established. He has a great match with Drake Younger from this year. And then this David Goldie thing, I've never seen him wrestle before as far as I know. And I don't know if he slips off the ropes a lot. And he kind of like fucks stuff up a lot, but like it almost seems on purpose. Like the finish of the match is they're going for, or Drew Gulak's going for a superplex, and Goldie kind of just falls off and lands outside in the apron. Drew Gulak falls to the ring. Goldie does like a springboard kick, and that's the finish. That's the end. But like things like that happen several times in the match, so that make me think that that's on purpose. Maybe it's not, and Drew and him are just covering for it great, but it was fun stuff. And then Mike Quackenbush had a match against Adam Crow in Victoria, Australia, Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, for Alpha Wrestling, it looks like. And it was fucking awesome. It was different than the Chase Burnett match. It was more of a big time title match style, but Quack, great guy, better wrestler. So check out Drew Gulak and my Quack and Bush still, even though they're canceled. Austin Aries can stay canceled. And then I know at least one other person on this call has listened or watched MLW War Chamber, and they're mad at me for it.
I thought it was gonna be Big Top.
Oh, did you watch it too, Chris?
I watched it last night.
Hell yeah. I think Pat, you said you were angry about it. This was a pretty good MLW show. I don't know what you're looking for.
I watched the whole thing, and I had my little notepad out. I had my steno pad, and the only note I wrote down, aside from who was in the matches, was notes for VPR: be mad at Dan. So, because I thought, it's the War Chamber. They got to do something cool. They got to have at least one cool thing happen in the match.
Okay, well, here's part of the issue. You're wanting something to happen.
Yeah,
that's not really MLW's thing.
I guess
they like to run in place, and I thought they ran in place in this show without falling on their face. You start out with Baba Thunder in a tag match. Baba Thunder and Cruel versus the Filthy Bros.
His name is Mads Cruel Kruger.
Yeah, you're
the
correct.
greatest Royal Rumble guy? He's from Poland or some shit.
Yeah, he's from somewhere like that. Giant guy. He's in JCW a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Poland. He's fucking big, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Cruel Kruger gets a pin over MLW champion Matt Riddle. Donovan Dijak runs in. I thought this was fun. You didn't like this, Pat?
It just wasn't anything.
Mm.
I watched it, and I'm just I don't know how to. It's like a Scott Keith 2-star match.
One of the top 30 best matches of MLW in 2025. Going on, MLW invented a new kind of match. This is pretty exciting. It's called a lightning match, and has a 10-minute time limit. And this is probably going to revolutionize the industry. And the next match was
winning. No, you forgot an important part of it. That winning a lightning match will enhance your standings for future title shots.
Which seems to almost imply that winning a regular match didn't do that.
Apparently not.
But here we are. And the first lightning match in MLW is Myron Reed, the young goat, versus Ariel Dominguez. It's 4 minutes. It's very strange to make it a lightning match because I don't know that Ariel has ever won a match in MLW. And I would bet a lot of money he's never had a match go more than 10 minutes. So I'm not really sure why it needed to be a lightning match or how much this increases Myron Reed's standings in said rankings.
But they made a big deal that it was his first time back in 2 years. So
yeah,
assuming that he didn't.
He ran in at the last show, but yeah, this is his first match.
Yeah, assuming that he didn't die from that skull-on-skull collision with his wife the other week. Big things for the young goat in the future.
Then we get Blue Panther Jr. and Dark Panther versus Cozy Max, Akamura versus and Kojima. Cozy Max has some dissension. There's some tension there. Goes to a count out. This match happened. This was a thing.
Yeah, match will make you want to seek out your cozy bed.
It was very boring.
I mean, that's the thing is when they do these War Chamber YouTube shows, it drove home to me oh, this is what happens when they don't have a weekly TV show to put these matches on. Normally this would be the middle of the hour show, or a middle of the hour match for MLW TV, and that the commentators would spend half the match plugging live dates. Instead, it's okay, well, it's part of War Chamber.
And I'm not sure. I'm a pretty big renegade. I watch a lot of MLW. There are not a lot of tag teams, so I'm not sure what we do when we lose Cozy Max.
Well, we've got the Filthy Bros.
Contra
We've got
Unit.
Mads Cruel Kruger and Baba Thunder. Does Dijak have a tag team partner?
No, he hangs out with Mr. Saint Laurent, but I don't know if they have any guy to team him with.
You got
I
the
thought, I
Andersons.
thought, yeah, we've got the Andersons. We've got
Oh yeah,
Alex
the
King
Rogue
and Mr.
Formers.
Thomas.
You know, you sold me on it. We have tons of tag teams.
Yeah.
Also speaking about this match being boring, and like this not having weekly TV, I'm pretty positive that fans in attendance set through War Chamber to get to Azteca Lucha. Like it was
Yes.
all taped back to back.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why
So, like,
this one. That's why Azteca Lucha is streamed live, and this one didn't.
Yeah. So if you wanted to watch, if you wanted to see Mystico, like you had to sit down for 6 hours, I guess.
That's such an awesome strategy of like punishing your paying audience.
Yeah, you.
Like, oh, you want the cool wrestler?
You want to see Hedges Zero? You like, sit the fuck down.
Well, I hope you don't have to be anywhere tomorrow because he's coming out at 11:30 p.m.
Yeah, you're gonna eat this Delmi XO match. You're gonna eat this Okamura and Kojima match.
It's like when I would go to the combined like Collision and Dynamite taping things, and they would be like, "Well, if you stick around all the way to the end, we've got Pentagon Junior versus Commander," and that worked on me. I was because I'm like, I want to see Pentagon versus Commander.
Yeah, they did that to me once. I stayed like 5 hours through an AEW taping because the end of Ring of Honor was Gringo Loco versus Vikingo. And it was worth it. It was worth it.
The first time AEW was
the one that made me glad I stayed the extra 4 hours, even though I was one of like 5 people left in the building. It was Takeshita versus Commander, and Takeshita was just throwing that little man around, and I was just like, all right, this fraternity of me and the 15 other people left in the TD Garden, it was worth it for this.
first time AEW was in Charleston, West Virginia. I went with a buddy Steve from work, and he didn't watch wrestling. He had a good time until they announced that there was stuff after the main event, and he was like, "There's more." I was like, "We can go home, man. It's fine." It was I think it was the Young Bucks versus, I want to say like Daniels and Kazarian, or one of those, some of those guys. Something that had nothing that interests me. Yeah, I was like, no, we can definitely go home. It's okay. But that's like, Charleston's like an hour, a little over an hour from us. So it's like, yeah, you've sat through enough wrestling for me. You're a good friend. That brings us to MLW's Women World Featherweight title match. Shoko Nakajima defeating Delmi Exo in a return match. I thought
Delmi
this was
Exo.
one of the,
I know we've all got a lot to say about Delmi Exo.
this was one of the better Delmi Exo matches I've ever seen.
She's
That's
my favorite.
bad. That just breaks my heart for Delmi Exo to hear you say that.
I think this was maybe the best non-C-Star Delmi XO match I've ever seen. Because I'm a big Team C-Star guy.
Does Ashley Vox even still wrestle?
I have no idea.
Okay, so I figured you were a big Team C-Stars guy. I thought you might.
And then the War Chamber, which I am gonna go to bat for and say better than WWE War Game matches.
I can buy into it. So we got to make clear it's a War Chamber. It's not a War Games.
No, yeah,
Because they only have the one ring. What is it that did they put barbed wire at the top of the cage?
yes,
Something like that. Yeah, and people are coming in with weapons. So it is just a 4-on-4. It is a lethal lockdown match.
yes. Yeah, I thought it was fun. I thought I got a lot of Mr. Thomas action, and that's really what I'm here for. I do think that you're in trouble with the Rogue Horsemen, which is Bobby Fish, Brett Ryan Gosselin, Brock Anderson, and CW Anderson. I think we're in trouble in 2025 when CW Anderson is by far the best body on the team.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too much in the big top, but like that is the best body and the best worker on the team. That's a little bit concerning, but
I mean, I hadn't seen Brock Anderson in, probably 4 years. Like I saw one of those, like AEW dark matches once upon a time. And he is like, it's like the picture of Dorian Gray, but he's turning into his dad.
yeah, he's not even 30 yet.
That is one Arn Anderson looking motherfucker, which, I suppose that tracks because it's Arn Anderson's son, but I don't mean
But I
that
mean,
as a compliment.
but I mean, if you're an MLW Renegade, you got Alex Kane, Mr. Thomas, Matthew Justice, Paul London on the face side, and they all hit all the spots you wanted them to hit. Matthew Justice jumped off the
Who
top.
was it? Was there someone who was supposed to be in this that was getting replaced?
I don't think so.
I thought Paul London was a sub for someone.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm gonna be embarrassed if he was, but we all wanted Paul Walter Hauser to be in it.
Yeah, I was really disappointed by how much Paul Walter Hauser was in the video recap of like the lead up to the War Chamber and how he did not run in at all.
It was arguably the whole storyline is arguably Paul Walter Hauser versus Brett Ryan Gosselin. Like that's the big story, and then like he's just not involved at all. He just wasn't here. Wasn't in town, I guess.
Had to film a movie.
Mr. Thomas goes over, which is funny just because they don't ever do anything with him. Alex Kane supposedly out of the company, so I guess maybe that's part of the reason, but I don't really know if I believe that Alex Kane's going to go anywhere.
I mean, the issue that I had with this is that it reminded me a lot of the 2012 Royal Rumble, in that someone comes in, does 3 clotheslines or a weapon spot or whatever, and then just beelines to the corner to stall. Like there was a lot of like people, kind of like grappling in the corner, just kind of like making sure that they weren't getting in anyone's way.
You do have that. That's part of the issue with it not being a War Games, it only being the one ring. Like the finish is funny because like Mr. Thomas is pinning Brett Ryan Gosling, but like all the heel team's right there laying down next to them. Like there's nowhere for them to go.
It also reminded me of, and this speaks to Chris's area of expertise, when they do the 10-man lucha or lucha cage matches, and there are just too many bodies in one ring with nowhere to go. So Matthew Justice, true to form, he did a somersault off of something.
I imagine if there's ever a weekend where he's not booked, he's just doing that at home.
Yeah, I mean,
he canceled.
Someone was saying that there was some sort of like relationship drama around like Matthew Justice, Masha Slamovich, Akira.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
All my fave GCW guys from 2019 are now cancelled. So it's like,
yeah. But yeah, Matthew Justice, he is basically superhuman when you think about it. I mean, superhuman, the Twitter account. Like he got into wrestling just for like, it's like his dream is a pile of VCRs that he can do a swanton onto. Pretty sure Superhuman is also canceled though.
I believe he is.
So who is canceled? Is Matthew Justice canceled?
I got to look this up. You continue going over the match while I look up the Matthew Justice.
Oh, there's so much.
The assumption is that if they're in MLW, probably.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to go over. Alex Kane.
What's Austin Aries? Not to circle it back too much, but was Austin Aries cancelled for?
I assume he's a dick. I mean, there's that. He's definitely not nice.
Yeah, we know that.
But
he didn't like do anything they missed, like anything major. Right?
He did the thing in TNA where he like shoved his crotch in the Christy Hemi's face. That was less than cool.
Oh yeah. That was before he went to WWE.
That was So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's been canceled.
The last major thing he really did was, as far as I know, no selling the corkscrew splash from John Morrison.
I think a
John
lot of
Cena.
Austin Aries' modern cancellation comes. He's a COVID truther.
Yeah.
He's an anti-masker, anti-vax. He's one of those weirdos. You know, like
Why is Low Key not still in MLW then? I would watch it if he was there.
God. I mean, Loki versus Paul Walter Hauser. You speaking my language.
I suppose the answer to that is he was there for
Okay,
a couple
so
of years.
I'm looking at a tweet from @ultraviolentguy, and they say Masha Slamovich cheated on Akira with Matthew Justice, who was also sleeping around, is accused of sexual assault, sending personal photos of him and others, attended the Holes of Glory, spread some STDs, and also took it in the booty himself. Not a great look. Hashtag Deathmatch Wrestling.
For the record, taking in the booty himself is fine.
Yeah.
That's actually the bit I'm most offended.
Yeah, like that's fine. I don't know why
Okay.
we're lumping that in with the rest of it. I mean, let the man do what he
I
wants
don't
to
know
do.
what attended the Holes of Glory. The Holes of Glory is in like title case. So,
Yeah, is that like a glory hole I should know about? Like it's a special glory hole?
I'm wondering if
Is
it's one
that
of
a
those like,
convention?
invite-only Circle 6 shows.
Now this has been tweeted by one guy, so I will go ahead and confirm this is all very true. I can also tell you, I can't even think of her name. The woman accusing Shane Mercer of sexual assault and rape, who's now taken it back and is now accusing Shane Mercer of doing witchcraft to make her think those things happened to her,
That part's true.
used to date Akira. And she also accused Akira of things and took it back, but no witchcraft that time. But she has been firm in the witchcraft, the Goody Proctor's talk for over a month now. Her Facebook is every day is just like, you guys won't believe me, but I have to keep up the fight. He is a warlock.
I mean, he's
ruined my
the
life.
Iron Demon. Where else is he going to get his powers other than some sort of infernal pact?
And I don't know how you prove he's not. I mean, so he's a demon.
How else can a guy that big do a rope walk? Does he still do those, or is he just like Brian Cage, where he's like, okay, my knees are fucked. I'm not doing this shit anymore.
I don't watch a lot of Shane Mercer, but I think he still does that stuff.
Time
He's
to
been over
catch
in
up
Japan.
on some JCW.
It's true. He might be one of their champions right now, right? This is embarrassing.
We've
fallen so far behind. Yeah, we gotta catch up. We need to know what's going on with Ultimate Ellsworth.
That's gotta be the big top soon. Is just to get a big old Juggalo Championship Wrestling catch up. He is no he.
Now, please don't tell
he
me James Ellsworth is cancelled. He's my favourite.
No, yes, he's fine. Don't look into that at all.
Okay.
Oh, Colby Carino and Shane Mercer dropped the titles, sadly. Oh, and JCW went back to what they know. It's the Brothers of Funstruction. Fuck yeah. All right, we're catching up on that soon. That's really all I had to say about MLW War Chamber. Alex Kane suplexed a bunch of people, including the cameraman. That was fun.
You guys into Mr. 50s?
Into what?
Mr. 50s.
Oh yeah, I
Isn't that a
love
club
Mr.
that
50s.
Matthew Justice was accused of going to? Or?
No, Mr. 50s is Drake Younger's gimmick in JCW.
Miles Clark, where he like spray paints himself gray.
Yeah, and Joey Janela said he's woke now, and I believe Joey Janela.
Yeah, the thing is, I believe Joey Janela too. I believe that he believes whatever he's saying. He strikes me as someone too dumb to lie, but also very easily tricked. I mean, just the fact that he went on the record with Phil Schneider telling like the story about like Sabu doing all the kratom, and then like a day later, Sabu just explodes, and Joey Janela just keeps talking. Like he doesn't he never sits and thinks like, well, maybe out of respect for the dead, I should not say my piece. No, he just posts through it. Fucking
It's fucking awesome.
genius of wrestling, idiot savant of wrestling.
People are always wanting to know what's going on Facebook, and I'll let you know that Drake Younger and Bull Payne pretty regularly just tell each other they love, like, I love you.
Good.
Aw.
I think it's actually really sweet.
Male,
Yeah.
I mean, male friendships, as we know from lots of think pieces, are kind of a dying art.
I
So,
will say they do the dude thing where they won't say "I love you." It's always "love you, love you." You know what I mean? Like it's kind of. I feel like that's a little cheat guys use, but
they just tweet the kiss emoji.
yeah, things like that. You know, it's cool.
So I actually, there was something I was curious about with a Rice Report scenario, which is Masada and Jinder Mahal at
That's
Battleground
all.
Championship Wrestling.
That was so stupid. That was all a work, and that shows me people aren't on Facebook because the promoter of Battleground Pro had been doing the work for a month before the match. He kept posting screenshots of text messages he had with Jinder's agent, complaining about it not being a 5-star hotel that he's staying in, and all this over the top stuff.
Okay, because all I saw was the tweet of someone like I can't remember what Masada's real name is, Brigham Young or something.
Yeah, he
The
tweeted afterwards, and that kind of got picked
yeah,
up. Yeah, no, that's a work, but like a
Yeah,
work
the
that
other
seems to be leading to nothing because I don't think Jinder's coming back.
I mean, it's Battleground Championship Wrestling. I think it's shocking that they have anyone for 2 shows in a row.
Yeah, I can't remember the promoter's name right now, so I can't pull it up for you. But I
It's
will say
not
that
Rob Feinstein.
yeah, he's definitely not involved at all. Never has
I
been.
think it's Randy Embler.
Timothy Ambler. Yep, there it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, he posts too much for me to
Who's
see it. But
Randy?
yeah, he had. I have no idea, but he had this thing going on for months. The funniest one was there was like he posted a screenshot of him going back and forth about what hotel Jinder would stay at, and so. But yeah, somehow that got picked up by a bunch of the news sites that Jinder walked out of a match.
Does Feinstein own IWA Deep South now? Is that a real thing?
Oh, I didn't
No,
hear
but
that. That's awesome if that's true.
they moved their shit off of Stream XPW.
Ooh.
StreamXPW.com is no longer the host for IWA Deep South shows. They are now on the prestigious Title Match Network.
I feel like Deep South has been on there like 5 times.
Yeah,
I
probably.
was looking at their latest card. It's got Mr. Hughes on it. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
I hope there's Mr. Hughes versus John Rare at the next Carnage Cup.
God,
Well, Nick, I will tell you, Nick
that would be
Gage
so good.
in IWD South match, Nick Gage didn't make WrestleMania. Well, not Nick Gage. Necro Butcher didn't make WrestleMania, but he is replacing Nick Gage in this year's Carnage Cup.
Right.
So
Yeah, I saw. I mean, have you been following that? You know, Brett was commenting on something saying like people need to stop booking Nick Gage because you're just enabling him. And having watched Nick Gage at the May CZW show, he's not looking good, man.
no, yeah, he looks terrible, but like Brett saying to stop enabling Nick
Yeah.
is like me saying everyone should stop eating donuts. What are we talking about?
Yeah. It's just like
Like-
when even Brett Lauderdale is calling you out, it's kind of like, oh man.
I did see. I think it was this last weekend. I can't remember what the 2 matches were, but he was booked in a match on 2 sides of the United States. Like he was supposed to be in like Chicago and California or something. It's like that's gonna be tough. That's some Hulk Hogan math.
I'm just praying for Nick Gage's family and loved ones that no one gives him any kratom, because I mean, we saw how that went once.
Yeah. The most dangerous drug.
Okay, if you want to get 2-day tickets to Carnage Cup, it's $100, which seems high, but then you also get to camp there for free.
Ooh.
Yeah, because it's just in a fucking field. It's not like
it's
you're
just in a field.
yeah, you're pulling up to. It's like going to like to see a fucking Spongel concert or something. You're just pulling up on some fairground. Like not even a fairground. This is probably just someone's property.
I'm just gonna circle October 25th and 26th in my calendar just in case.
I also saw, speaking of wrestler gossip, I saw that Facade, the Neon Ninja, our favorite from Juggalo Championship Wrestling, he was making out with Tara Zepp, another favorite of the show. And my first thought was just, oh no, poor Danny Moe.
Whoa, yeah, I was saying, are they broken up? That'll break my heart.
I don't know. I mean, either that or they're weird polyamorous people.
I mean,
Which, I mean,
that,
I feel like it could
Wrestler?
be either.
yeah, I mean, that could very easily be either.
But Chris, I believe you watched some wrestling. Unless Dan, do you have anything else you need
No,
to
that,
check in
that
about?
I think that covers it.
We got the mini big top out of the way with MLW War Chamber 2025. It's free on YouTube. If you like to see Brett Ryan Gosselin, and I know you do, check it out. Throw Cord a few bucks, just walking around money. He could use it. Chris, speaking of throwing money, did you watch any lucha?
I did. I watched a lot of wrestling this week, including a bunch of lucha. So I'm gonna try and knock this out as fast as humanly possible. A lot of what I watched was bad because as penance for taking so long on the Lucha Roundup, I'm just straight up watching everything. From Arena GDL, I watched Delirio versus Willie Banderas. It was a bad match. From Invasion Poblano, I watched Belial and Gannicus versus Dynamic and Venom versus Noisy Boy and Spiderfly. It was pretty good. Noisy Boy and Spiderfly, obviously the highlights of the match as two of the best wrestlers in Mexico. Also,
Can you imagine if those
from
two had been around for like 2004 CZW shows?
oh my god, that would have been
Like
really
them, or
sick.
like even early ROH, like them versus like Izzy and Dixie.
Also from that Invasion Poblana show, there was a Baby Extreme, Black Danger, and Ecstasis match versus Lindsay Extreme, Rey Espartano, and Ryu that I had a really fun time with. From XLL, Carnaval del Amor, watched a handful of matches. The Black Skyda, Piranha, and Rael versus Helios Nordico and Skyda was pretty solid. Couple other mid-lane matches. And then there is also a Big Mommy versus Nephthys match, which is not a good match, but it is a great match, as most Big Mommy
That's often the
matches
way
are.
with Big Mommy, yeah.
Yeah. So if you need some Big Mommy in your life, I recommend that match.
I do feel like Big Mommy is someone who missed out by leaving AAA before the WWE acquisition. I mean, she hasn't been there in
Oh,
a few years now, but like if she had been around, like, you know, they would have taken one look at her and been like, hell yeah, we've got our Mrs. Iguana.
yeah, that would have been special. Like, especially because I believe they are, like, he's got some visa stuff that he's trying to work out right now, but they are bringing in Nino Hamburguesa
They
as soon
better.
as he has that figured out. So if they could recreate the magic of Nino Hamburguesa and Big Mommy, oh
If they can put Nino Hamburguesa and Otis together in a Royal Rumble match,
Yes.
yeah, I mean that's all there is to it. That's wrestling, right? That's how to book.
That's how Lucha gets legitimatized.
That's how it becomes
uh,
El Rumble Real.
absolutely correct. Amundo. Watched Promociones Fresero Jr. Solid, like, Atomicos match with Cerebro, Maligno, Epitafio, Leviathan, and Nezakid Jr. versus Freelance, Negociante, Gabe Sapolsky's favorite wrestler, Neurosis, and Night Fury. Nice, like, little 3-star Atomica's match. Probably could have been cut a little bit. A not as good match, if you would believe it, with Demonio Infernal, Dr. Wagner Jr., Trauma Uno versus Impossible Piroff Jr. and Tejano Jr. Would you believe that a lot of those wrestlers are phoning it in?
Doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Take your word for it.
yeah, I was shocked too. But there is there are a few fun brawls on that Frisero Jr. produce. There's Arhanis Carta Bravo Jr., Mocha Coda Jr., and Mania Cop versus Centauro, Jefe del Norte, Pistolero Negro, and Sereno. Like, solid brawling, little bit of blood. And then there's Atomic Star, Especie, Maligna, and Trauma Dos versus Commando Bocasas, Supernova, and X-Fly that I had a lot of fun with.
And this is all still in February, correct?
This is all February. From AMLL, decent trios match, Cavernario, Galindo Jr., King Perio, and Rey Espectro versus Emperador, Azteca Jr., Kingstar Jr., and Zonic. From Arena del Valle, the worst shit. I sent you guys this card to really prove that I am in the mines for this one, because the first match I watched, Pig Destructor, Pig Destroyer, and Pig Pool versus Rhino Crazy, Rhino Extreme, and Rhino Killer. Daga versus Icaro. And the best match of the three, which I gave a whopping 2 2.25. Dave the Clown, Murder Clown, and Panic Clown versus Grand Pandemonium, Io de Pandemonium, and Pandemonium Jr. I'm going through it with this shit.
You are
For all of us.
You have locked yourself in a prison. Like you are sitting in a prison cell that has no lock on the door, and you are insisting that someone waterboard you.
Yes. But I decided after all of that to give myself a little treat, so I watched the February 2nd Fishman versus Sagrada match. You may remember this one as the one that was advertised with the poster that said Mascara versus Mascara in big letters.
Yes.
Oh, then yeah, that was a good gimmick.
This was not an Apuestas match, but it is really sick. There's a lot of great punches and bleeding and working over the cuts. What I like about this match is that the chairs they use are wooden. And you don't get a lot of good wooden chair. Not a lot of good wooden chair work. So
I feel like I see this a lot from Los Poros NG, but they use wooden crates a lot.
Yeah, I do.
They just recklessly fucking swing those fucking things into people's heads, and they just explode. And I'm like, these guys definitely have brain damage, but this looks so fucking sick.
Yeah, I do love the crates too. Back to like the realm of bad to mediocrity, I've got from NEW Angel Negro, Diabolico Jr., and V57 versus Emperador Azteca Jr., Turbo, and Zonic. Solid little trios. From NWG, I have Aquilus.
I think it's
versus-
Achilles.
Is it just Achilles? How you pronounce
I think they're just writing out Achilles in a way that like a Spanish speaker would look at and say, Achilles.
Okay. Versus Brian Villa, which is not a particularly memorable match, except for one spot that Achilles really, really eats shit while trying to get up on the turnbuckle. Dark, also from the same NWG show, Dark Pain versus Paimon, who I'm a big Paimon fan, but this was just okay. Paimon doesn't hit the same way when he's not like losing half of his blood at the hands of Maquaro. And then I watched about half of a Lucha Libre Boom show. Leviathan, Tormento, and Tormento Jr. versus Apetico, Neurotico, and Simpatico. Really long match for some reason. Had its moments, but just kept on going. And for a little bit, I was like, oh, this is a pretty decent brawl with like some weird masked guys, and one of them looks like Art the Clown. And then it goes on for 10 more minutes. But I mean, we were talking about crates. There's some crate action in the next match, which is Argus, not the Argus from Lucha Memes. Guerrero, Jaguar, and Mascara de Hero versus Principe, Centauro, Super Poro, and Yoruba, which is a really fun brawl. And another really fun brawl, Demus, Jolidaire, and Super Pinocchito versus Lunatic Extreme, Ovet Jr., and Superboy. And that is where I left off on that show, which is a bummer because there's back-to-back Pigs matches on that show.
Oh my god.
Because I forget who was initially announced for the card. But I believe they were still at like the AVE show that was happening the same night, so they couldn't make it. So the Pigs pulled double duty. And that's what you want to see.
You can only imagine how safe he must feel with an exhausted pig pool. You're like, okay, I'm relying on Pigpool, who's been wrestling for 30 minutes straight, to catch me on this one.
And I'm pretty sure the Pigs also worked that AVE show that same night too. So the Pigs on their third match of the night.
You got to respect the hustle, even if they did. I can't remember if this was in February or if this was in March, or they broke Murder Clown's leg.
Yeah, I bet 55-year-old Mr. Electro felt really, really safe.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that 55-year-old Mr. Electro was like, I'm definitely going to take bumps tonight.
And that was all the Lucha I watched.
Well, you also watched the Panthers versus Okamura and Kojima. Is that not worthy of Lucha?
Well, that was all the indie.
I mean, it's not. We know it's not legitimate because it's not owned by WWE, but
because I also watched Dynamite Grand Slam Mexico. that happened last night. It was a very good show. Anyone else watch this?
I watch
I-
AEW on Friday nights like a true Brit. That's when it comes on TV.
Yeah, he's got you there. You're not making him renounce his nation, his king.
That's right. God save that guy, honestly.
You've got a really good show to look forward to. It was probably one of the like baseline most consistent shows AEW has ever done. I thought
Nice.
the worst match on the show was probably the opener, which I still liked. It was like a 14-man tag, so it was just a bunch of people like getting their shit in and moving on to the next one.
Saw
Yeah,
some
I was kind of
glowing
shocked.
reviews of Mystico versus Montel after all the complaining about the match being booked.
Yeah, that match was really fun. MJF is kind of ideal as an Arena Mexico like foreign heel, and specifically one against Mystico. Because like he's not doing any of his like, actually I'm a super
Pseudo
worker
babyface. Yeah.
bullshit. He's just like being a stooge for Mystico to do cool shit too and Hulk up against. And yeah, I think it's really well structured, and like it does its job really well, and I got surprisingly invested in it. And it was
Do you
also
think
really funny to see I like I imagine 95% of all of this is like the bad faith WWE type fans reacting to this, but like people reacting to the finish. It was like, oh, this is such a bullshit finish. And it's like, yeah, a low blow getting someone disqualified, and then he pulls their mask off. How could this ever happen in Arena Mexico?
Do you think that
This
Chris
would never.
Jericho was watching this and just like seething? You know, like,
Probably.
do you think he's watching it like, okay, I've got to fucking go back. I've got to outdo this.
Yeah, people seem to like this a lot more than the
Injury.
Jericho.
Well, I think it might finally be time for was he the Painmaker for the Anniversario match? Or was he just Chris Jericho?
I thought it was the Lionheart.
Okay, so it might be time for Mystico to meet the Painmaker.
I could not agree more. I liked the Okada versus Mark Briscoe match. It was probably a bad fit for this show. I thought it was well worked. It's not as good as their Continental Classic match. But it definitely wasn't paced or worked like what this crowd wanted to see. And they made that apparent throughout the match. But I thought it was fun. I liked the little bit where Okada does the middle finger Rainmaker pose, and then Mark Briscoe bites his finger, and Okada doesn't react because Mark Briscoe doesn't have front teeth. And so Mark Briscoe then has to bite him using his side teeth. That's a really funny spot.
He should have just pretended that he was sucking on it.
Oh yeah, that would have gotten everyone into the match.
That's right.
Best match of the show. I usually am not huge on 3 and 4 ways, but Hologram, Leo Rush, Mascara Dorada, and Ricochet. Really fun spot fest. And I think part of why it worked for me is that a lot of it is essentially worked like a tornado tag with the heels versus the faces until eventually Leo Rush pisses Ricochet off.
Until eventually Leo Rush pisses. That was a great spot to pause. So eventually Leo Rush is mid-match, takes a leak.
Yeah, and Ricochet he's not a piss guy, and so that really
We've
adds their
seen the video
dynamic.
of what he's into.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun with that. I like Ricochet has been dynamite with his heel shtick, and I love that they're using Leo Rush more lately because he has been one of my guys forever. And even if it's just like a lower card heel goon who's getting to work in matches like this, I will take that. And Hologram is super fun, and like Mascara Dorada, super fun. Those are guys you want in a like high speed spot fest. And the crowd ate it up. The crowd ate it outside of the Okada Briscoe match. The crowd basically ate this entire show up. It was really cool. The Mercedes match with Zeusis was another really neat title match for Mercedes to get her 30-second belt around her waist. And then I haven't seen the other like Ops versus Young Bucks
Riders.
and Death Riders match.
Yep.
So I don't know if this one is better or worse, but
well, isn't the other one Anarchy in the Arena?
Oh wait, yeah. For some reason I thought they had another TV match last week because I had watched last week's TV.
The Ops won the Trios titles a few weeks ago from the Death Riders.
If you want to know
that's what
happened on AEW TV, the only way to find out is to listen to Dig Deep on the Violent People Media Network, whatever we call it. They will let you know.
But that match is another really fun tag match. The crowd really is excited to see Samoa Joe in Arena Mexico, and Samoa Joe is also really excited to be in Arena Mexico. So that put a nice smile on my face. Yeah, so really like fun, unique show. From the crowd, both really being into most of the show, as well as like you can see all of these workers like are putting in their strongest effort because like it is special to them. Like it made for a really, really great episode of TV.
I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
I mean, yeah,
probably watch it with my
mom. Let us know. Let us know tomorrow how it plays in the UK. But Mr. A Bastard, did you watch any wrestling this week?
I guess so. I've actually compiled a little list of what I've watched in the last few weeks because just this week wouldn't be much of a conversation. So I have watched wrestling such as women's erotic wrestling, big pimpin' booty kicks butt. 3PW, a funkin' classic. Tony Khan's All Elite Wrestling. Naked Women's Wrestling League Vegas Stripped. 2016 CZW. Giant Bubba. You know, the usual.
I mean, you had me until 2016 CZW, and then I was just kind of like, I can, women's extreme wrestling and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's normal. 2016 CZW.
You know, us true fans call it women's erotic wrestling.
I apologize to the true fans. I'm trying to remember. There was another one where it was like DLOW, where it was like a glow, like the name was a play on glow, but it was like pretty much just softcore pornography. The early 2000s were
Damn, I didn't know about
amazing,
that.
an amazing time.
It could have made it to. Hopefully, the podcast on those nudie ladies shows is dropping this weekend. I'll try and finish the editing.
I look forward to listening to it while driving around a cargo van.
Yeah,
I
there's going to be as many
had to-
farts this time, so
I expect it to be like the fart bit, but with the Chris Kloss noise.
yeah, there's going to be at least like 3 or 4 of those.
So for anyone who hasn't listened to the official Grapply podcast, they did an episode on, I think it was WrestleMania 36, the COVID WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And while recapping the backstories leading up to the matches, they looped a fart sound for like 3 minutes, and it's fucking loud. It sounds like a foghorn. It sounds like
it's
someone
so
like.
loud. Yeah,
It sounds like someone
a
trying to
pre-prepared
like.
thing.
It sounds like someone trying to blow out the back of their pants. And
if it wasn't off the cuff, I would have chosen a less like.
But I'm listening.
A sound effect that
while
doesn't peak the microphone, but yeah.
So I'm working and I'm thinking like, okay, I'll put on the official Grapply podcast. I can hook my phone up to the van while I'm driving around. And so I'm driving around and it's just like, and I was just like, they fucking got me again.
Yeah, the bit is for like when we do epic rants, like rather than just do an epic rant on bad wrestling, like there's someone blowing fucking shit out of their ass.
See, we'd be doing that, but with looping that one Monday Night Football soundboard sample. Or what was it? Was it Monday Night Football? Which one was the one that was like just way too loud and like unmixed?
I think it was.
Oh my fucking god!
Yeah, it was that
Was
one.
it that?
It was
Oh
that
my
one.
god!
We'd just be looping that.
Oh my god! Yeah, that's way worse than me, you fucking terrorist.
Oh my god. That's still one. The episode where we play that over and over again, still one of the most like downloaded episodes of this podcast.
Yeah, because it was like a fantasy football draft. So actual normal people were like, "Let me listen to this. I'm into fantasy football drafts." And
These
then
guys are probably normal.
They got punished with that.
Jesus Christ!
Do you have any? I don't want to. I don't want to take away from the official Grapply podcast. I know you got to save a lot for that because you guys do have to get through about 8 hours of content every episode.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on this wrestling that you watched that you would like the world to know?
That Lawler Funk match fucking rules.
Yeah, it does. I might even maybe it might even be more to my personal taste than the Memphis stuff, just because they're kind of old and I love old men. Not in a gay way.
You can love old men in a gay way. It's 2025. Who gives a shit? As long as it's not like a weird like Milo Yiannopoulos thing, whatever.
I know, but I just don't. Okay.
I haven't watched that movie. I haven't watched that that match in years. But I just remember like all like the tie-ups and then just the headlocks and shit being so stiff and so brutal and loving it. I go back to that every few years.
Yeah, it's a great match. It was my first time seeing it. The rest of that card was quite funny. I didn't watch that for a podcast, so maybe I'll go into that a little bit. So Rick Blade and Trent Acid is the opener, and they try and do like they try and do Loki versus Amazing Red kind of intro to it, and it doesn't really work
My
out
God.
for it. Bless them for that. You don't get nowhere if you don't try, you know.
True.
And then there was a Rockin' Rebel tag where I actually it was Jeff Rocker and the Rockin' Rebel against that Hit Squad, and I felt that Rockin' Rebel was actually stooging quite well, so maybe we should uncancel him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why they canceled him, right? His wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
he was
Nothing
too
else?
much of a good heel.
Mm.
And then there was Homicide versus Kid Cash, which was kind of disappointing, actually. It sounded really good, but Kid Cash didn't really give Homicide anything, which is strange, in 2003.
No, that sounds like Kid Cash.
Yeah. But, like, yeah, that could have been good, but it wasn't really.
I
Balls
do want
Mahoney
to
versus Ian Rotten. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I do want to interrupt on the Kid Cash front. I did watch the official Grappling stream yesterday, where
Yeah.
you were playing SmackDown with like a broken controller or something. You were playing SmackDown versus Raw 2007, and it was
Yeah, that's right.
it was
We're
The
going through
Rock.
Parsec, and Parsec can be glitchy.
It was Robbo versus The Rock, Kid Cash, and Booker T in a 3-on-1 match. And whoever was playing as Booker T just spent the entire match attacking Kid Cash and the ref. And
that was me, because it was something to do with like the left analog stick. Like Parsec is very weird with that. I was trying to multiplayer it. And
I was just sitting there laughing my head off at this, and then when it was over, I just like, what is going on with my life that I'm watching this and so much more entertained by this than like movies.
Well, you know, it was a movie. It was cinema.
That's true. It had aura. It had chills. It
Of course,
should have
Kid
had
Cash,
like
a prominent feature in our streams, because in TEW, I think he was like the first person to complain in my TEW save. So I was just like, right, you're my fucking enemy. So every show I do an elaborate plot rib to him, and he always takes it badly.
he doesn't quit. He doesn't try to sit out his contract. He just gets
And
really
I've put him
mad
in
over and over.
and I've put him in a handicap match against the team known as the Couple of Fucking Bad Boys, which is Ahmed Johnson and Ian Harrison, if you remember that guy. And yeah, I've booked that match about 8 times. Last time I booked it got a 0.
I think that's a fitting legacy for Kid Cash, to be honest.
Yes, like I like him as a wrestler. But...
It's like that, and like a music video montage set to some new metal song of him versus Trinity from early TNA.
So what else? Oh yeah, Balls Mahoney versus Ian Rotten. I recommend this match if you like both guys indulging themselves by doing like grappling for like 40% of the match, and then they just, you know, obviously it presented to them smacking each other with weapons. But it was very nice. I liked both aspects of the match.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Check it out. Chris Chetty versus Damian Adams versus Josh Daniels. I couldn't tell you anything about what happened in that. Amish Roadkill and the Blue Meanie versus Christian York and Joey Matthews. Attempting a comedy match, and nobody was really going for it. So that was great. Gary Wolf, the reigning 3PW champion at the time, against Kevin Sullivan, who presumably he was already, I don't know how old he was, but he looked completely ancient, and he looked like he was wearing like boxer shorts.
Yeah, that's how he wrestled in like. I think they were supposed to be like boxer short, like for boxing.
Yeah,
the sport,
but it just looked like he was in his pants.
Yeah.
It's like your granddad heard a noise in the middle of the night and he's going to investigate, and he gets sucked
That
into a
might be how
3PW
they
title
got
match
him on.
somehow.
That might be how they got him on those shows.
Yeah, and the finish was like a really shitty low blow, and everyone was like, "Boo!" So yeah, that was cool.
I think 3PW is an underappreciated promotion in 2025.
I find it pretty watchable. Yeah, like to actually watch the whole show, I was kind of surprised at not hating it. So yeah, maybe I'll watch more of that soon.
You got to, see, I think they have the Jasmine St. Clair versus Veronica Kane feud. The Blue Meanie does a bunch of stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's the weird regional wrestling war of like 2002. It's a product of those strange times.
Yeah, just the fucking like opening music video to that 3PW show was like all the names that they had in, including like fucking Kurt Hennig. He's looking around the fucking ECW arena like, what am I doing? What? How did it come to this?
Yeah, from launching Brock Lesnar out of a plane to this. So I also watched some wrestling. I watched the GCW Tournament of Survival and GCW Cage of Survival. And if you want to know my thoughts on those, you're going to have to wait, around 2 weeks, because I will be talking about them in the next edition of the Death Panel.
Damn it!
A monthly column that I'm doing for Violent People that I was very glad Dan and Chris remembered to plug last week.
You're welcome.
Now, so that space was so listeners can go back and listen to last week's episode and realize that they did not remember that the Death Panel went up at all. I'm not mad.
Funny that I did. It's funny I didn't remember to plug it because I looked for a death match from June to watch. I couldn't find anything that looked good.
Well, Tournament of Survival had some fun stuff. It was, I liked it better than last year's Tournament of Survival. And Ciclope and Miedo Extremo, those two guys are insane. I will say the one that I think everyone's going to continue talking about for a while was Bear Bronson versus Slade, because that was both guys just trying to lose all of their blood. Like that.
I saw a clip of that, and Bear Bronson does not look like recognizable at all.
Yeah, no, it was like they both were like, like they were trying to mass transit themselves. I don't know.
Yeah, good luck to that guy, because I'm still like struggling to think of which is which, and the other guy's like a horrendous creep.
Well, so you can tell Bear Bronson is the one who still gets bookings.
Well, yeah, but I don't watch anything. But maybe I should.
I mean, hey, he did well enough on this in his first ever death match with the GCW. He's bringing him back, so
yeah.
We also had the surprise return in advance of her appearance at MLW of Shotzi Blackheart. Came back in the Tournament of Survival.
At last.
So I know the world was waiting for that one, but sadly she did not win it. I will not spoil who won, other than to say that he may or may not be having a dog collar match with a certain 9th best wrestler of the world coming up soon. But yeah, speaking of the Death Panel, that's going up first week of June at some point. I am taking, it's not going to be just me writing. Hopefully, I know Tim said he wants to write about something for it. The goal is to get a variety of voices, short things, so that people don't feel like they have to write a 20,000 word exegesis on Bear Bronson versus Slade. They can just write 300 words, and that's cool. Though on the 20,000 word front, we just had go up on the site. Saul posted his Ogawa. Now, Chris, can you tell us about how the Saul Ogawa thing came together?
Yeah,
I know it's been long in the making.
so I believe, like, I mean, he talks about it in the piece a little bit, like when he was, like going through like wrestling catch up last night, or not last night, last year, for like VP 100 and stuff like that. He was checking in on Yoshinari Ogawa, and like he had basically completely forgotten that Ogawa had retired in August of last year, because like Ogawa got hurt in a random trios match on a Noah show, and basically left it as an announcement of, hey, I'm retiring, I'm hurt, doctors say I can't do it, there's not going to be a final match, there's not going to be a big ceremony, it's been real. And Saul is a big Ogawa fan and kind of wanted to give a big tribute to one of his favorites who didn't get like the big pomp and circumstance that John Cena's getting, that Tanahashi's getting, that Ding got, that Muta got, and
So you're telling me he's expressly disobeying Yoshinari Ogawa's wishes?
Yes. Yeah, he may face the wrath of the rat.
We can only
I
hope.
will say, like Sam, when you first brought it to our attention in the Discord, I like instantly Googled Ogawa. I thought he died. I was like, oh no.
So the title of this piece, for anyone who, for whatever reason, doesn't know that we are at violentpeople.co, it's titled, If a Rat Disappears and No One is Around to See It, Did It Really Happen? And Saul, hopefully the first of many contributions to the site. One day, if people buy enough mugs, we might even be able to pay him $1 for it. But in the meantime, we can only pay him with appreciation and love. We'll be on Facebook with him, sending messages like "Love ya." But we also have going up on the site recently. Also, in case it wasn't clear to end, for any of the slow listeners, I'm doing plugs now. We've moved out of what wrestling we watch, and now we're doing plugs. We have recommended matches roundup number 52. Thank you, Corwell. Let's have a look at what is highlighted. Oh, we've got West Coast Pro Wrestling, DPW, and Prestige. So if you want to know what stuff from that show you should have watched, Corwell's got you covered. There is Darkest Before the Dawn, a new episode of Q&TR talking about Japanese pro wrestling. There's a episode number 8 of Late Night with the 2012 Royal Rumble with Ollie on it. No, I listened to it. It's a good one. It's a good one.
Oh, well, listen to just the Ollie parts then.
Yeah, okay. Selectively mute the thing. And then Dig Deep, episode 5, the Montellanus. How do I say it? The Montellasance. So,
and Saul
we got
is actually
something
on that one as well. He is stepping in for Kevin on the episode.
Okay, there is no description of it posted on the site, so I see the title. Even when you click through to Transistors, it says, "What is Dig Deep?" Digging deep into all elite wrestling television. So we got to crack the whip on those guys. They got to write episode descriptions. Other than that, lots of stuff popping off. Cole remains MIA.
I need that proper cast back so bad, man.
We need to know what happened in the Best of the Super Juniors.
And broccoli.
I mean, what am I going to fucking do? Like, Am I just gonna fucking look up results on like F4W online like I'm some kind of fucking homeless person? No, I need to listen to it on the Violent People Labs.
The thing about violentpeople.co is that when people say they're going to post something, when they say they're going to do a podcast, they do it, and they do it exactly when they say they were. And now we have Cole throwing that all off.
You know, I'm not even mad. I'm just kind of disappointed.
I'm pretty mad.
Well, you
I'm
can be mad.
steaming.
I'll be disappointed. All right. Well, I guess we don't know how Sam feels, but I'm sure that Sam has deeply felt opinions on the
I just
Violent
want to know
People
what
Lab.
Jimmy fucking Havoc's 2013 is like without watching it.
I think it was a time of personal growth for him. He
Yeah.
learned a lot about himself. He learned a lot about how to style his hair. He certainly did some 45-minute matches that I would rather fucking drink poison than watch.
I bet
So,
they're awesome.
Jimmy Havoc, great segue.
Is it?
Usually we let the guests decide what the big top is going to be. Can we get the big top sound thing? That's right. It's tonight's big top. A bastard. We let the guests decide whenever they want to decide. What did you choose as the big top?
So I recently watched a match from Tim Donst for the first time in fucking a long time. And I thought, this guy is the prototypical sleeves cut off t-shirt guy. And he looks like fucking shit. So, who is some wrestlers who look like fucking shit? My pick would be Tim Donst. Yours?
Well, I just said Jimmy Havoc. I mean, you know, has Jimmy Havoc ever been an aesthetically pleasant person?
Oh my god, that picture of when he's painted white, it's so fucking good.
I'm always drawn to his nipples in that because they're made to look really tiny. Like there's no like areola, but the bit outside. Or is the areola the nipple itself? Is that just a fancy word for nipple? The
I believe it's the
basically.
outside.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Because when you see a big titted lady, it's like, oh, look at them areolas.
I'm always
That's right.
saying that.
You are.
HR has
You
to
can't
talk
stop
to me
saying
about
that.
that shit. I'm on my like 5th warning.
Well, you know, if they're gonna walk around with their great big areolas in public.
I mean, it's
Oh,
summertime. What are you gonna do?
It felt like we covered areolas before the podcast. We talked about it enough. You know what I mean?
I've covered a few.
Now, I was thinking about this, and I had some thoughts where I'm like, it's one of these things where I can't always describe why someone looks like shit and someone doesn't. Was I think like JC Bailey in CZW? That's my fucking dude. He looks cool as hell. Scotty Vortex?
Mm-hmm.
He's an idiot. Looks stupid.
I mean, I think that's just down to Scotty Vortex could be wearing anything, and you know, he could have like a Hollywood stylist work on him or whatever, and he would still be Scotty Vortex.
It can't get from that. That brings us into like the garbage bag pants era of indies, and DJ Hyde wearing the shiny garbage bag gear is probably a highlight pro
Yeah,
wrestling.
Missy Elliott era DJ Hyde.
Yeah.
He opted for like most guys wore like black, but he wore like, sometimes he would wear like a shade of indigo. It was an interesting choice.
You know, speaking of big ugly things, I have to bring it back to XPW. I know the bastard. You remember this gentleman, Pogo the Clown.
Yeah, of course.
Perhaps the most unflattering ring gear on a big fat guy I've ever seen. Like it looks like they took like a giant like kind of baby onesie thing and just like stuffed it with like tissue paper and trash.
Yeah.
And they somehow managed to make a wrestler who named himself after John Wayne Gacy and who filmed vignettes where the implication was that he was going to murder children. Somehow they managed to make him look unappealing.
Yeah. There's a good few fat guys on XPW back in the day. Scott Snot, the guy who dressed like a fucking postman or something. Is that Scott Snot?
I think so. XPW had that weird like group of just like guys who weren't like California indie guys who weren't part of like the epic, pre PWG scene. So it's like Steve Rizzono, guys like that.
Oh, sick. If I type in Scott Snot XPW on Google Images, on the second row, there's the official Grappling Podcast. Moving up.
Well, I mean, people are always looking. They're like, this Scott Snot guy from XPW. I need to know more about him. Where's he been?
Yeah. Also,
What's American Wild Child been up to?
Probably not as interesting as what Shady got up to.
Oh man. I might get canceled for this one. I always thought Super Dragon could have done better than the Black Pajamas. I don't think he looked like shit, but I think he could have done something a little cooler.
If we're just gonna be calling people out that people like a lot, I think when Rey Mysterio dresses up like the Joker or Wolverine, he looks like a fucking dork.
I think when any luchador dresses up as the Joker or Wolverine, they look like a fucking dork.
Oh,
yeah, a couple of months.
Volador especially.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Volador and Brian Cage.
Ago, I saw Ray versus Brock from whichever Survivor Series that was, and interestingly, Rey Mysterio opted to dress up like a little clown. He's got a little red nose. It wasn't even a Joker thing. I think it was just like random clown, and that's a great thing to wear to wrestle Brock.
Well, wasn't there some AEW show where Brian Cage and somebody else both dressed up like Wolverine? The same show or something stupid? Oh my God.
Yeah, I think it was Sammy Guevara.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because like Deadpool and Wolverine had just come out, and they're both just like, oh, man, I need to capture the public's attention by dressing up like Hugh Jackman. But Brian Cage is one of those guys where it's just like, all right, we get it. You don't have good taste in anything. You don't have to rub it in our faces. So, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of guys in like the Tim Donst vein. As I think Bastard put it, the cut off sleeve T-shirt realm of wrestling.
Yeah, like obviously the
right now
one is Kevin Steen, but Kevin Steen was marketable enough to be Ring of Honor's top star for a bit, and obviously excel in the WWE. So I think you got to scratch below the surface to find the Donsts of the world.
Well, yeah, because the Donsts of the world are Tim Donst, so they never really succeed. They just kind of exist.
Is he still around?
I think he is.
Right.
I think somehow.
I'm so glad.
Somehow he is.
I think I posted before.
Down.
Tim Donst was the AIW Absolute Champion, and I think Elgin had vacated it, and someone else had vacated it, and then Tim Donst came out, and he's doing a promo where he's going to vacate the title, and I very audibly on the video go, "Jesus Christ, not again!" And then he announces he has cancer.
So, Chris, were there any noteworthy bad looks in all of your lucha watching? Because you were watching indie lucha, which sometimes has some really iffy fashion choices.
I mean, I think we've talked about it on this podcast before, but part of the appeal with Mascara Sagrada NG is that he looks like fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like he, to be nice about, he's like very awkward looking in that mask and like in that outfit. He's a little too big for it.
Well, it's also a
It's
very unflattering outfit. It's not like it's it's not
yeah,
like
it's
a
all
black compression shirt. He's just stretching white spandex over his gut, and so it soaks up all the dirt on the floor.
yeah, it's
He
such a
sweats through it.
dirty, sweaty suit that like it is so perfect for the matches he's having. But in all other ways is just incredibly unappealing.
And plus, he also he's one of those guys where they rip the mask during his matches, and he's just got like a receding hairline.
Yep.
Like he's just got short hair with he's got like a like his hair looks like Calvin's dad from Calvin and Hobbes, and so it's not even like L.A. Park where it's like you rip the mask and he looks like Alfred Molina with like the long hair. But yeah, that is he's one of those guys where he looks like shit, but he looks like shit in an awesome way.
Yeah.
So I will say, if we're talking about wrestlers looking like shit, shout out to L.A. Park still wearing singlets from 100 pounds ago, where he takes the weight belt off and like you can just see like that thing is struggling to stay attached to his pants.
There's
with
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just say with Tim Donst being the inspiration, I was trying to think of Chikara guys that look like shit, but I think they just all did. So like no one sticks out. Like is like Shane Storm look shittier than the rest of them? I don't really know.
Oh, speaking of Chikara, they on that CCW show when they did a barbed wire tribute match to Sabu with Judge Joe Dredd, who looks like shit, and Tarzan Duran, who looks like he's on meth, and probably is. I'll have to confirm that with my sources, so it's not libel. But to kill time, because they had to take down the ring ropes and put up all the barbed wire, they had Avery Good come out and announce for the best of the best. And they did the whole thing where he's wearing a hood, so you don't know who he is, and he takes the mic and he pulls the hood back. Literally zero reaction. Everyone at the show was just like, "Who's this guy?" And man, how the mighty have fallen from Dasher Hatfield to.
Is there a single point where he's been Avery Good at any company where he could be revealed, people would pop?
I mean, I didn't even recognize him at first until I was like, "Wait a minute, I think that's Avery Good." But he announced, by the time he announced that he was in Best of the Best, he was just getting booed. And I'm not sure if that was the intended reaction.
Another luchador truly looks like shit, but that's all part of the charm, and he would have not have been the legend if he did not look like shit. The late Angel O Demonio.
Yeah, you gotta live the gimmick.
Yeah, you gotta live the gimmick. You can't be doing like shoot cinder block shit unless you look like a real piece of shit.
He's in brick heaven now.
It's true. We checked.
I do actually have another candidate. So I was watching for one of the podcasts. I was watching New Japan Pro Wrestling from 2014, and it featured an NWA title match with Chase Owens, and he looks athletic. And seemingly, as soon as he actually got like properly signed by New Japan, he just looks like shit.
I mean, that's, taking pins in G1 tag matches. Like, why try? You got life on Easy Street. You got it all.
He just joined House of Torture, right? He's still going strong.
Yeah, I thought he got released or something. I was sure I heard that.
I think people say that every year when he disappears. It's just like, no, they don't need him, and until they do.
Well, a bunch of guys are working New Japan without like official deals. I imagine Chase Owens is one of those people. He's just there. He's just hanging out.
There's never a point where they're going to call Chase Owens and he says no.
Yeah.
You don't need to have a deal.
I mean, Chase
I don't
Owens
wanna
is when you have as many opportunities as he does, when you have so many people knocking down your door, being like, "We need, what's his fucking gimmick? The diamond dickhead or whatever. You play the diamond in the rough. You can be choosy."
There's a Talking Turnies, that old podcast episode where Sam mentions him being canceled, and I find out what he got canceled for in real time. It's shocking. I don't want to derail the big top, but I can confirm Facade and Danny Moe are no more. I mean, if Facade making out with Tear Zep wasn't enough, Danny Moe is posting on Facebook like my ex is a narcissist stuff nonstop. And here's a status. We have to bring back the men who still buy flowers, fill up gas tanks, plan dates, open doors, and compliment women daily. I'm going to let you know, Danny Moe, who's friends with a lot of wrestling fans, that did not bring out the normal people in the comments.
Oh, man.
They've always been here. They're in the friend zone. Shiver isn't dead. It's right here. Modern women killed it. Feminism killed
Modern
it.
women. Oh, my God.
Nice guys finish last. You friend zone them. That's me.
So that's fucking Drake Younger replying, or
why did you type all that stuff?
That's how I feel. I wanted to know.
It's just all in one post.
That's all one long post by me. Oh my gosh.
oh man, that poor woman dealing, her relationship. Hopefully, she comes out stronger from the end of that relationship, but now she's got to deal with wrestling fans. Wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. You know who I've always thought looked like shit?
Who's
Good
that?
Brothers. We're talking about Chase Owens. We're talking about white guys in Japan.
Mm.
Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows have always kind of looked like if you go into like a WWE game and you play like the story mode where you're in NXT to start with, and they just have like the tag team of like two guys named, like fucking Justice Blade and like Steven Magic or something. Like they look like those guys where like the game developers are like, okay, we have to make some wrestlers, but we can't make them look too interesting. And I think that I'm singling out the Good Brothers just because I was thinking about them just now. I don't know why, but that covers so many wrestlers where they just kind of like aspire to look like the generic opponents you face before graduating to Monday Night Raw in a WWE career mode.
Yeah. I think my final candidate would be El Ligero. Particularly when he was in the Brexit United Kingdom flag mask.
Yeah, man. Well, at least
It like squished his face. It was too small for him. Make it again.
Who was it who wrestled? Was it Mikey Whiplash who wrestled in like heels and fishnets?
I don't know much about the Scott rest.
There was
I can't
someone
believe
where it was.
we've mentioned him earlier in the show, but we haven't mentioned Ricky Shane Page as wrestlers that look like shit.
Well, I mean, when you say Tim Donst, most people are thinking of Ricky Shane Page anyway.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, 44-0, they produce some lookers, man.
Oh yeah, Sammy Callahan looks great now.
Sammy
oh, man.
Callahan looks awesome.
Dude,
There's a few pictures I've seen where he looks like fucking Abi Kobayashi or some shit.
his comb over, he has like reverse Scotty Too Hottie hair, where instead of having the middle of his hair all stick up, it's everything around the center of his head is all sticking up, and then you can just like you know, you could fucking throw a foam basketball in there. Yeah, God bless Sammy Callahan, the man of 1,000 amazing looks.
Absolutely. Yeah, I liked his troll doll look in NXT.
Was that when he was the computer hacker?
Yeah, he had like the hair that went like directly upwards, possibly to boost his height stats.
Yeah, I mean, almost. It's like that fucking Simpsons episode where they'd say like, you know, you would be perfect for Fall Out Boy, except you're 2 inches too short. So then Bart's wearing like the shoes with lifts and the pinstripe suit. He's got like a little chihuahua next to him.
I think this
Sammy
might
Callahan.
this might be outing me as a bad uncle, but when I took my niece to Cedar Point, you know, she had to be like 52 inches for the bigger rides or whatever, and she's probably only like 50 inches. So I put her in the biggest shoes I could, and I said, get your hair in a bun. We're doing this. and they
Well,
kind of pushed the bun down a little bit, but they're like, yeah, close enough. Go ahead and go on.
Well, I wish your niece well for her stay in the hospital. I hope she pulls through quickly.
I mean, Millennium Force is worth it.
Thank you. That's my favorite roller coaster of all time.
So sick.
There was this roller coaster I went on once where it would stop midway through and then it'd suddenly go backwards. I want to say it was in Canada somewhere. But I was not prepared for the backwards part. So I just cracked the back of my head off of the seat. And I got off and I'm like, my head hurts. Like, how did they allow that to happen? What fucking Canadian Nazi freak designed this coaster? So I was pretty mad about that the rest of the day, and I'm still mad about it, even though it happened in like 1999. So if you need to understand my personality, it's I got a brain injury on a roller coaster in Canada in 1999.
There's a small amusement park near me down here in Huntington, West Virginia called Camden Park. It was in that, which was Fallout 76. It was, but like, it's you know, really, really small. It's got like one real coaster, and that real coaster, this was 3 years ago now. I'm standing in line. I put my hand on like the fence, and then the board falls off. I fall, and then the next board falls off. And then I get up and I'm embarrassed, and the ride guy goes, "Don't worry, stuff falls off all the time." To calm me down.
I was expecting like you were saying, like, and then like all the fencing started falling like dominoes.
I mean, no, but like the three rails right there, the piece I was in just fell right off, and he's just like, "Oh, that's fine."
Actually, the worst thing that ever happened to me on a roller coaster was I was on a roller coaster. It was going super fast, and suddenly my eye started hurting. Like it was as if like suddenly it's just like I felt like intense pain in my face. And I got off the roller coaster, and the person I was with gasped because I had a dragonfly like stuck to my cheek. My face had collided with a dragonfly mid-ride. So that hurt a lot. You would think that hitting a bug at however many miles an hour would not do too much damage to you, but I had a shiner from that one, which that it tells me I should not be judging these wrestlers for how they look when I'm weaker than a dragonfly. So do we have any other wrestlers we want to roast or dunk on? Anyone else jumping out at you is looking like a fucking idiot? Other than, most of them, most of the time.
Nah, they all suck.
Yeah, fuck them. But
Fuck
that
'em.
brings us to Q&AR, where the beautiful members of the Violent People Discord community submit questions to us. And since Sam is not here this week, we might actually answer all of them, as opposed to just saying that question sucks and moving on. Though, no promises. You guys ready for some questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, I didn't hear anything from Dan, but too late.
Yeah.
Nick Yeoman asks, assuming you all subscribe to the religious beliefs of the pharaohs, and that's true, we are all hoteps. Upon your death, which of your co-hosts would you like sorry, the plural singular there threw me off. Which of your co-hosts would you like trapped in your tomb so that they can serve you in the afterlife? So we have to decide who we would want as our afterlife servant. I'm going to say probably Chris, because you have the most customer service experience that I'm aware of.
I worked at a pub once.
Listen,
Actually,
I'm
two
cool.
pubs.
I'm cool with marrying you guys, but getting stuck in the afterlife, that's a little much.
I mean, I like that he assumes that we are, well off enough to be pharaohs. So I guess in theory, Dan,
Look at
you could buy like a house and like have it like pulled down and turn the lot into the pyramid tomb.
I mean, if I'm just like collapsing a house on myself, I can just do that. Just break in. I don't want to spend the money.
I like that
I'm
you can
dead. What
just
are they going to do?
Yeah, I could just break into any house, just pull it down on myself. I just need some strong rope.
Listen, I'm not suggesting that anyone pay a realtor who a lot of them are really poor, like $75 to get MLS access. But if you did, you would have the information of every vacated house in your area. A lot of times the code to get in, just whatever you needed.
So if you are looking for a place to do drugs, become a realtor.
100%.
That's our life advice. Porik asks us, you're put in charge of 2000's WCW and have to come up with a new match stipulation to save the company. What's your idea? And bonus, if you want, who's in the match? So I thought about this one, but do you guys have a new match stipulation that you think would have saved WCW in 2000?
I've got one that I actually came up with on a TEW stream. It's the humiliation or immolation evening gown inferno match.
I thought you were going to say the I shit match.
That too. I mean,
Yeah, I mean that would have been perfect for WCW 2000. Vince Russo booking the I shit match. But yes,
Yeah.
walk us through the humiliation or immolation.
Well, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? You either get
guess.
humiliated or you get immolated.
But aren't they already in the evening gown? Is that not the humiliation?
They're in the evening gown, and I think I could walk.
So they might get the
around
evening
in a
gown
gown.
pulled off to reveal their wrestling trunks.
Well, they ain't wearing trunks, boy.
Oh, okay,
Tell you that right now.
fair enough. This is a very high content.
Tell you that for free.
Chris, Dan, you got any dream stipulations that you would inflict on Chris Canyon in 2000?
I mean, I gotta save that for the Patreon. But I
So-
think I would like, or you could do like, I'm gonna go a little Jim Cornette here and be like Vince Russo versus Tank Abbott, but like it's just an actual death match. Like first one to die loses. Only way to save the company.
Seems kind of immoral.
So my idea was World War IV. You guys remember the Armageddon cage from Uncensored 96?
Indeed.
So it's a multi-tiered cage, worked like a Royal Rumble match, but the only way to eliminate anyone from the match is you have to throw them from the top of the cage to one of many announce tables. They would have like an Epcot announce table situation where suddenly we'd see like the Finnish announcing team. There would be 29 announcing tables surrounding the ring. And the only way to eliminate anyone is they have to be thrown from the top level to one of the announce tables below. This match logistically would probably last about 16 hours. But I think that it would survive. It like WCW would have come through if they'd gone with, or even just doing like a Hell in the Cell Royal Rumble. It's just you can only eliminate people by chucking them 20 feet down.
And they can have that guy Oklahoma being like, "How do you learn how to fall?"
Exactly.
For every spot.
So he would be in it, as would the Misfits.
He's saying it as he comes down off the cage.
It would be like, they'd announce like, okay, and next to join the match, Oklahoma, and he would say, well, how do you know how to fall? And then he would, take a swig of barbecue sauce and stomp into the cage.
Yeah, that's good.
Chris, you got anything for us, or are you just enjoying the vibes?
I'm taking it back to the piss incident from earlier. It's an I piss match. First piss. First opponent to piss himself loses.
I'm picturing that match, and it's like the CM Punk Raven match where he's like pouring beer into CM Punk's mouth, but it's just water. They're just like grabbing each other in headlocks and hydrating them.
I don't know why I thought my first thought was first one to piss wins. Yours makes way more sense.
Yeah, you do not want to piss.
I was sitting here thinking,
I
I'd
think
be
it should
good
be
at
the
that. I
first
could
one
piss
to
right
piss
now.
win.
You're thinking of what you're usually watching.
This is the undisputed champion of this match is Jimmy Havoc, painted yellow like a minion.
He looks like the guy from Sin City.
Oh my God, Nick Stahl, what a fall off for that guy. From Terminator 3 to I think he lives in a ditch now or something. Speaking of, Tim asks, funnest ways to mispronounce Persephone?
Sexy style.
That would be a good one. I'm trying to work out how to work penis into her name. Or I guess you could say Persephone, like penne, like Spanish for penis, but that's where I went.
Yes.
Eamon asks, Susan. Eamon asks, with WWE giving into the fan backlash and rehiring R-Truth, how long until VPR brings back Tanner?
Why do you think Sam's been gone 2 weeks?
Yeah,
We're already starting the process.
We're setting up the feud. Plus, it's the July 4th is the big hot dog eating contest. We gotta at least check in with him on that. Porik asks, Stahl's piece is one of the best I've read in a while.
Good piece, bad question.
Yeah, you gotta come harder than that.
It's no question, man. For fuck's sake.
Porik also asks, opinion on Notts County performance against AFC Wimbledon in the League Two playoff semifinals.
It was a fucking disgrace. You know that bit in you seen Peep Show, right?
Yeah.
Obviously Mark's arch rival Jeff. They're feuding over Sophie. And he's like, you could have your balls in her. No, oh, fuck that. You could have your cock in her, you still wouldn't have the balls to fuck. kind of like that.
I don't know which team you're saying that about.
Notts County,
Okay.
because they lost.
Well,
They had their cock in them, but they didn't have the balls.
I don't think that's legal. I don't think you can do that on the
Yeah,
footy
that's got to
pitch.
be a red card.
Nah, trust me. In England, where I live in England, anything goes.
Man, it's Derek Jarman was right when he made Jubilee.
Is AFC Wimbledon? Is that the John Green soccer team? You guys know what I'm talking about?
I don't know who John Green is.
Oh, he's like I don't know. It doesn't matter then.
We'll ask
it matters.
Porik
Come on.
next time he's on. So I'm pretty sure Porik and Bastard are the only two people who watch football.
I'm definitely the only one who watches League Two, fourth tier, helpfully named League Two.
Well, it always makes so much sense when I consider it. But Cole asks, did they let Joey Chestnut back into the 4th of July hot dog eating contest, or is it fraudulent again this year?
He's back.
Is
He
he?
announced it
We know this for
a couple days ago.
Okay, so it's not fraudulent. It's legit. Just like legitimacy has returned to Lucha Libre, legitimacy has returned to slurping down hot dogs.
Yummy.
Tim wants to know, what should we review on the next Q&T program?
MLW War Chamber.
See, I said they should do one of those murder basement shows from XPW. I can, just trying to picture like Quentin doing one of those.
Oh my God! I can't believe I've waited this long and not told you, Pat. Somebody on Deathmatch Facebook is complaining because I guess there's too many people going to it, so they won't tell anyone else where they are now. They're
Oh my
sold out
God.
of the basement show. The next basement show, full capacity.
And like when you watch like the fan cams of it, there are 12 people in that basement.
Too much?
Maybe that's the most the grandma who owns the house will allow.
I'm gonna be honest, I assumed it was Veronica Kane's house.
Oh, I'm happy she has a house.
Yeah, I mean she's got a nursing career beyond wrestling, so hopefully she's making some money off it. I know there's
I
some
know
good
I've
money.
seen her in a nurse's outfit. I'm trying to think
Yeah,
where.
it was her post-adult career thing. She took the nurse uniform from some Rob Black production and just went to the
Just
hospital.
walked into a hospital. It's like, here I am.
Yeah,
Oh.
just started dieting.
Chris Kloss is very excited.
There was I was watching XPW Genocide the other week. I was rewatching that show because I just love it. And at the start of the show, Chris Kloss and One Tastico are out there doing a promo to hype up the crowd. And Chris Kloss really did multiple thing and like interrupts himself to do that and like keel over and like grab his penis. Like
he's so good.
It's like getting a hard on. He first off, mentioning a woman's name gives him a hard on, and then the hard on hurts him because it looks like he's selling a low blow. He must have some sort of like painful phimosis or something.
The
We'll
blood
have to
rush is
ask him
that
that.
quick, like in a split second. It's just like it's not a gradual thing. It's just like.
But he did this
boner.
he did this like 3 times, and like he did like the full and then he just like a and then like he was like trying out like it was like a Conan promo, but instead of getting rowdy, it was just
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah,
I actually think that might have been our last question, but I missed it. Did Sam post some company secrets on the Discord?
I think he said he butt messaged something, or rather wet bathing suit messaged.
This guy can't be on the podcast. He's in a bathing suit putting corporate secrets on the Discord.
Watching WWE evolve.
Oh, shit. Not Sam.
Not Sam. I mean, we got to say, watching WWE evolve, what the fuck is the matter with you? Watching XPW, God bless you.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah. I just, if we got to go out on one thought, it's just, 2000 to 2002 XPW. You got to love it.
Mm-hmm.
So where can we find the official Grapply podcast in its myriad forms and incarnations?
So on the X app, as I like to call it, we are at Official Grapply. And if you look in the bio there, we've got the link tree with all the places that we're on. We do Twitch and stuff. And yeah, hopefully the Women's Erotic Wrestling and Naked Women's Wrestling League episode drops this weekend.
How do you have to, when you do the twisty listy for that one, how do you even scale?
Well, there probably wasn't any. I did like Dawn May. She's like a fat woman. She's pretty
Yeah, she was like the fat hillbilly wrestler.
Yeah,
on those, sexy Pennsylvania wrestling things.
in the overalls. Yeah, she was pretty good. But yeah, it didn't necessarily do the twisty listy because the whole thing's a twisty.
Fair enough. I mean, God knows it was made for people to twist to.
That's right.
Dan, Chris, anything you guys want to plug before we head on out? Now that we've basically killed off whatever brain cells are left of the listener.
I want to plug that Eric Stevens is a bad worker because I'm looking here. He's back. I guess he's unretired again, and he's got like a little tongue-in-cheek, like, book me. I got bad knees, bad hip, blah blah blah. But he gives himself 10 years in-ring experience. A true worker would count from the very first time he wrestled to today. He doesn't care he's retired. He should say he has like 20 years. Fucking bullshit. Don't book Eric Stevens. That's my plug.
Now book him
Alright.
because that will mean he posts less.
You know what? That's actually pretty good. You're right.
Makes a hell of a cookie. Buy his cookies.
I
don't think
feel
you
like
can.
there's a
You got
90%
Eric Steven cookie money?
No, I don't. I've never had them.
All right.
I heard they're good though. I heard they're good.
I want that green cum cookie.
Yeah, I want the green
Now.
cum cookie. I want the green cum.